The world twisted violently around Naruto Uzumaki, his vision blurring as the infinite Tsukuyomi's golden light engulfed him. One moment, he had been standing on the battlefield, Kurama's chakra surging through his veins as he clashed against Madara's overwhelming power. The next, the sky cracked like shattered glass, and he was falling, plummeting into an abyss of swirling illusions. When his feet finally hit solid ground, the air smelled of sweat, neon, and something metallic, blood. He blinked, his blue eyes adjusting to the harsh, flickering lights of a massive arena, its towering walls lined with screens broadcasting his bewildered face to a roaring crowd. "Welcome, contestants." A booming voice echoed from above, dripping with false cheer. Naruto spun, his fists clenched, only to see a grinning, masked figure floating on a platform, draped in a garish suit. "You've been selected for the ultimate game show, where survival is the prize." Behind the host, a colossal scoreboard flickered to life, displaying names and faces: Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, even Gaara and Hinata, all trapped in this nightmare. Naruto's stomach dropped. This wasn't just an illusion, it was a twisted game, and they were the players. A klaxon blared, and the ground beneath him shifted, panels sliding apart to reveal a maze of jagged spikes and whirring traps. "First challenge, the Gauntlet of Shadows," the host announced. "Eliminate your opponents or be eliminated yourself." Before Naruto could react, a kunai whistled past his ear, embedding itself in the wall behind him. He dodged just as a second blade grazed his shoulder, drawing a thin line of blood. His attacker lunged from the shadows, a clone of himself, eyes hollow, mouth twisted in a snarl. "What the?" Naruto barely had time to block the kick aimed at his ribs, skidding back as the clone followed up with a furious barrage of punches. Gritting his teeth, Naruto countered, driving his palm upward in a vicious uppercut. The clone staggered, but didn't fall. Instead, its skin darkened, veins bulging as it erupted into a nine-tails chakra cloak. "Oh, come on!" Naruto growled, flipping backward as a tail of crimson energy lashed out, scorching the ground where he'd stood. He couldn't hold back, not here. With a sharp inhale, he summoned his own cloak, golden flames wreathing his body as he met the clone's charge head-on. Their fists collided, a shockwave ripping through the arena, sending debris flying. Naruto pivoted, slamming his foot into the clone's gut, then followed with a spinning heel kick that sent it crashing into a wall. But the fight wasn't over. The clone pushed itself up, its body warping, bones cracking as it transformed, a grotesque, half-formed version of Kurama. Naruto's breath hitched. "Fine. If that's how you want to play." He slammed his hands together, gathering swirling chakra between his palms. Rasen Shuriken. The whirling sphere of wind shot forward, slicing through the clone's monstrous form, reducing it to dissipating smoke. Panting, Naruto lowered his arms, but the victory felt hollow. This was just the beginning. A screen flickered above, displaying Sasuke, his Sharingan blazing as he cut down faceless opponents in a different sector of the arena. Their eyes met through the feed, a silent understanding passing between them. This wasn't just a test of strength, it was a trap designed to break them. And if they wanted to escape, they'd have to play the game, for now. Naruto clenched his fists, his resolve hardening. Whoever was behind this would pay. But first, he had to survive. The host's laughter echoed as new doors groaned open, revealing the next wave of challenges. The deadly game show had only just begun. The arena pulsed with an eerie glow as Naruto and his allies stood frozen, the infinite Tsukuyomi's illusion twisting reality into a nightmarish game show. The announcer's voice boomed, dripping with sadistic glee, "Contestants, the rules are simple, fight or perish." Around them, the ground cracked open, revealing towering opponents, twisted versions of their closest friends, their eyes blank, their movements puppeteered by the genjutsu. Sasuke's Sharingan flickered, analyzing the battlefield. "They're not holding back," he muttered, tightening his grip on his sword. Naruto gritted his teeth, golden chakra flaring around him as Kurama's power surged. "We've got no choice, we break through." The first to strike was a distorted version of Sakura, her fist slamming into the earth with enough force to split the ground. Naruto barely dodged, flipping backward as debris rained down. "Sakura-chan, snap out of it," he yelled, but her hollow laughter sent chills down his spine. She lunged again, her movements faster than he remembered, forcing him into a defensive stance. Kurama's voice growled in his mind, "She's enhanced, this isn't just genjutsu." Naruto's eyes narrowed. If words wouldn't work, he'd have to overpower her. With a roar, he unleashed a barrage of shadow clones, each one weaving hand signs in unison. Wind style, Rasen Shuriken. The spiraling vortex of chakra screamed toward her, but Sakura twisted midair, her body contorting unnaturally to evade. Nearby, Sasuke clashed with a warped version of Itachi, their blades ringing in a deadly dance. Sparks flew as Sasuke parried a flurry of strikes, his Sharingan predicting each move, yet Itachi's illusions layered over the battlefield, making reality indistinguishable. "You're slower than I remember, little brother," the illusion taunted, his voice a perfect mimicry. Sasuke's jaw clenched. He couldn't afford hesitation. With a surge of chakra, his Rinnegan activated, disrupting the genjutsu just enough to see the real attack coming. He sidestepped, driving his sword upward, but Itachi dissolved into crows, reappearing behind him. Amaterasu. Black flames erupted, but Sasuke teleported in a crackle of lightning, reappearing above him. Chidori. The lightning screeched as it pierced through, but the fake Itachi merely grinned, his body reforming like smoke. Meanwhile, Kakashi found himself facing Obito, his old friend's mask cracked, revealing a single Sharingan glowing with malice. "You couldn't save me then," Obito hissed, "and you can't save them now." Kakashi's grip on his kunai tightened. This wasn't just a test of strength, it was a battle of wills. He feinted left, then vanished underground with Earth style, bursting upward behind Obito. But the Uchiha phased through the attack, his Kamui still active. "Predictable," Obito sneered. Kakashi's eye gleamed. "Maybe." In a flash, he yanked Obito toward him with a chain of lightning, disrupting his intangibility. Now. A shadow clone he'd hidden earlier lunged, Rasengan blazing, but Obito twisted, his own hand glowing with a corrupted version of the technique. The collision sent shockwaves ripping through the arena. Back with Naruto, Sakura had him cornered, her fists cratering the ground with each missed strike. He was running out of options, until an idea struck. Channeling Kurama's chakra, he formed two massive chakra arms, grabbing her mid-punch. "I'm sorry about this," he shouted, slamming her into the ground hard enough to crack the illusion's hold. For a split second, her eyes cleared. "Naruto?" But that Tsukuyomi's grip was too strong, and her snarl returned. With a desperate heave, Naruto unleashed a point-blank Rasengan, sending her skidding back. The battles raged on, each fighter pushed to their limits. Sasuke, panting, realized brute force wouldn't work, he needed to outthink the genjutsu. Combining his Rinnegan with Amaterasu, he wove a counter-illusion, trapping the fake Itachi in a loop of his own making. "You're not him," Sasuke growled, driving his blade through the illusion's chest. It shattered like glass. Kakashi, bleeding but determined, activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. "I won't lose to a ghost." With a final Kamui, he warped Obito's attack back at him, the distorted scream echoing as the fake Obito dissolved. Naruto, sensing his friend's victories, roared as his chakra exploded into a new form, the Six-Path Sage Mode. The arena trembled as he charged Sakura one last time, their fists colliding in a shockwave of pure energy. "I'll bring you back," he vowed. The impact shattered the illusion completely, Sakura's eyes widening as clarity returned. But before they could celebrate, the announcer's voice returned, darker now. "Round 1. Complete. But the game isn't over." The ground split wider, and from the depths emerged a monstrous fusion of their greatest foes, Madara, Kaguya, and Pain, their combined presence suffocating. Naruto wiped his brow, exchanging a glance with Sasuke and Kakashi. They were battered, but not broken. "Ready for round 2? Sasuke smirked. Naruto grinned, cracking his knuckles. "Let's finish this." The arena trembled as Naruto and Sasuke stood back to back, their breaths ragged, their chakra flickering like dying embers. The twisted game show host, his form now a grotesque fusion of Zetsu and the infinite Tsukuyomi's illusions, loomed above them, his laughter echoing through the shattered remains of the battlefield. "This is your final round, contestants. Will you break free, or will you become part of my eternal show?" Naruto gritted his teeth, his muscles screaming in protest as he forced himself upright. The Nine Tails chakra, once a roaring inferno, now sputtered weakly around him. "Sasuke. We can't give up now," he panted, his voice raw but determined. Sasuke's Sharingan spun wildly, his Rinnegan pulsing with exhaustion. "TCH. Don't waste your breath. We finish this." With a shared nod, they lunged. Naruto's Rasengan spiraled to life in his palm, its light cutting through the oppressive darkness, while Sasuke's Chidori crackled with lethal precision. The host's grin widened as he raised a hand, reality warping around them, illusory clones of their fallen friends materialized, their hollow eyes pleading. "Strike me down, and they perish forever." Naruto's heart clenched, but Sasuke didn't hesitate. "It's a trick," he snarled, driving his Chidori forward. Naruto followed, his Rasengan slamming into the host's chest just as Sasuke's attack pierced his side. The world shuddered, the illusions fracturing like glass. The host's laughter turned into a scream as his form dissolved, the infinite Tsukuyomi's grip on the arena crumbling. But victory came at a cost. Naruto collapsed to his knees, his vision swimming. Sasuke barely caught himself, his Rinnegan dimming. Around them, the trapped souls of the game show's previous victims flickered into existence, their hollow gazes now clear. One by one, they faded, freed at last. The silence that followed was deafening. Then, a familiar voice, Kakashi's, crackled through their earpieces. Naruto. Sasuke. Status report. Naruto managed a weak grin. We're alive. The aftermath was a blur. The infinite Tsukuyomi's remnants unraveled across the world, its victims awakening with no memory of the nightmare. But the scars remained. The game show's horrors had exposed the darkest corners of human desire, power, fame, survival at any cost. Back in Konoha, Naruto stood on the Hokage's balcony, the village bustling below. Sasuke leaned against the railing beside him, his expression unreadable. They'll never know what happened, Naruto murmured. Maybe that's for the best, Sasuke replied. But Naruto shook his head. No. We have to make sure nothing like this happens again. And so, they did. The shinobi world united, not just against physical threats, but against the unseen ones, the manipulations of chakra, of dreams, of the mind itself. New defenses were erected, new alliances forged. As the sun set, casting the village in gold, Naruto smiled. The game was over. But the fight for the future had only just begun.